Hey, all you cool cats and kittens. You know that starting line, that means that it's time for another episode of Everything But the Cats, which is us, the only show where we talk about most everything. Almost 99% of everything, except for the one thing, which we still talk about, the cats. Um, they could write a book. They could make. Okay, so hear me out. Listen to our show, right? Listen to the whole thing, Everything But the Cats. Watch one episode. Watch the hit film Cats, and you know everything. Like the sum of human knowledge, you have consumed it. So good for you. Anyways, as always, I'm DJ,
I'm Gage.
and once again, we are joined by our good friend.
Adam Ward.
And Adam actually wrote our intro music. We thank him at the end of every episode because he deserves it. Thanks, Adam.
Yeah, thank you, Adam.
You're welcome.
He's actually written every iteration of our intro
Yes.
music. So all three of them.
Also, is it true that you do thank me after every episode?
Yeah,
We didn't for the first few. We didn't thank people back then,
yeah.
but we've started.
I'm
You
pretty sure
become
we
grateful.
started like right before we got on YouTube. We started
Yeah.
thanking people back
Well,
in
you're
the
you're
baby
really
archives.
well. That's awesome.
So
I appreciate it.
yeah,
We
absolutely.
appreciate
We
you.
appreciate you. Yeah. Gage, tell the world what we're doing today.
So a few weeks ago, I was talking to Adam and I asked him, "Hey, when you come on, what do you want to do?" Because I'm trying to come up with ideas and also let people, if they want to do a specific thing, be behind that. And so Adam recommended the idea of asking a question to people who follow the podcast, friends, etc. Just asking about their favorite of a certain kind of thing, whether that be movies, books, TV shows, things along those lines, and then putting them in a bracket so that we could debate about which one belongs on top. And so what we've done is I have gone on Facebook, likewise, our Instagram, and just a couple other places, like just personally talking to people, and asked about favorite movies. And I've asked people what their favorite movie of all time is. And we got around 70 different answers. But I mean, there were some who voted for the same thing. So we ended up having 46. And I have made a bracket that looks really janky. And there's a good chance I'm not going to put it on the screen, but we have a bracket that we're going to be working our way through, and ultimately, we will conclude with whatever the best movie is, officially, according to Everything But the Cats. And I have a Lord of the Rings Pez collection behind me, so you know that I know exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to good movies. So yeah, that's it. There are a couple rules that we've come up with, or that I've come up with, that we're gonna try to follow. If DJ or Adam wants to argue with me on one of them, I will hear anything out. But as a general baseline, if we have two movies going head to head and you have seen one but have not seen the other, generally you have to vote for the movie that you have seen. If there are both movies that you have not seen, you can listen to the other two people make their cases, and then you can pick one of their favorites if they even disagree. And it's whichever movie gets two or more votes. So it's perfect that there are three of us. We have built-in tiebreakers going on, and yeah, if none of us has seen either of the two movies, then we're just gonna read from like IMDb the basic plot synopsis, and maybe look at the reviews and decide from there. I hope that won't happen too many times, but that's kind of general rules. Anything you guys want to go over before we dive in?
I would like to say that I know you guys sent your movies in. I will probably trash them. Please do not take anything personally, or I'm just ranting here.
I mean it all personally. Everything I say, you might think, "Oh man, that was a pretty." He kind of got me right where it hurts. He probably didn't mean that though. I did.
He means it. here's the thing. I made that joke. I do not claim to be a cinephile. I like what I like. Which if I finished the movie, I liked it. And
Is
yeah.
Kevin Spacey a cinephile? I get. I can't remember.
Oh man. That's just going to be a running theme from now on, I guess. Uh, so, without further ado, we do have a lot of rounds that we're going to be getting through. So let's start with round one, and we have How to Train Your Dragon versus Godzilla minus one.
I think we have to start by comparing dragons.
Do you like dragons, DJ?
No.
So I've only seen one of these two movies.
It's How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah, it's How to Train Your Dragon. I was actually supposed to watch Godzilla minus one with Garrett before we recorded this episode, and then schedule stuff just didn't work out because he had like some work stuff going on and I had some work stuff going on, so it just didn't work. But yeah, How to Train Your Dragon's the only one I've seen, so that's where my vote's going. It's also a really good movie.
I would have to agree with you. What is Godzilla minus one?
It's the newest Godzilla movie that came out that isn't like American. So it's the newest Japanese Godzilla movie, and it like really
Sounds terrible.
harkens
Next.
back to the original, but like with updated special effects and stuff like that. It's apparently really good. Many people rank it as one of the best Godzilla movies because it brings like the terror back to it, instead of him just being like a giant superhero like he is in the Legendary Pictures movies.
I think that I once slept through How to Train Your Dragon when I was visiting my grandpa in Chicago. I was about 12, somewhere in there. Maybe I was older, 14, 15. It doesn't matter. I was visiting my grandpa in Chicago. And I have not seen Godzilla minus one, but and my vote doesn't matter. So I'll throw a vote towards Godzilla for my boy Garrett, but that's all.
Okay, so round one goes to How to Train Your Dragon. Round two, or matchup two, we have The Batman, the new one featuring Robert Pattinson, versus The Lovely Bones.
Have you guys seen The Lovely Bones?
Yes.
I once slept through it.
I have a feeling that's going to be a recurring theme. throughout this, DJ.
So I have not seen The Batman, and I have seen The Lovely Bones, and The Lovely Bones I think is just a very good movie. So that's where my vote's going.
Should I be Googling like a little plot?
Wait, have you not seen The Lovely
Oh.
Bones?
Here, no, I got you. Okay, so Batman, he's Batman.
His bones are lovely.
He's the
Yeah.
Batman.
He's the Batman. Lovely Bones. I remember I slept through this once. Some guy's daughter dies, so she's like super dead or whatever. But then Ghost her tries to let her living father know, like, hey, you think that I just happened to die, but actually, our really creepy neighbor who's obviously a cinephile, he killed me. And then they're like, oh yeah, he's kind of got like that like bald spot with like the really long hair. Like he's definitely a cinephile. He did it. So.
And he's played by Stanley Tucci, who's always great. Yeah, I don't think I actually need to explain more. Like that was perfect.
Thanks.
No,
So Gage, you've never seen the Batman.
I have not seen the Batman.
Okay, so the Batman is like all the other Batman movies, except he has daddy issues. But like,
I think every iteration of Batman
everyone,
in the
but-
movies does.
but this one he wears eyeliner and listens to
Oh, like
Nirvana,
daddy issues.
And at some point, he tells Alfred, he says, "You're not my dad, Alfred."
I'm almost
that
certain
is
Christian
true.
Bale wore eyeliner, or at least eyeshadow. He wore eyeshadow in the Dark Knight trilogy.
I don't remember that, but it's like Robert Pattinson is like he's definitely an emo teenager.
Oh yeah,
Like he's Edward from Twilight. Like it's the same thing.
I've heard somewhat mixed reviews on it. the people who I know who like it really liked it. The people who I know who didn't think it's very mediocre. And so that's kind of where I'm at. Like it's either really good or it's not good at all. And there's not a lot of in between in terms of the reviews that I've heard.
Yeah, I'm gonna vote for the Lovely Bones if that's allowed. I know it's against the rules, but
That's okay. Just because of yeah, the conversation we had before. Um
I, you've also pretty much seen it kind of with my description.
that's
So,
true. Yeah.
yeah, it's fair game.
yeah, so it's a really good movie. Like it's got suspense, it's got like there's not really mystery to you, but like it's watching the mystery unfold to the people in the film. I really liked it.
Wait,
Um
DJ, so you've seen both of them though?
Oh no, I've seen neither of them. I
Oh, you've
slept
seen
through The Lovely Bones. I'm gonna give my vote to the Batman because I love a good male lead with daddy issues.
okay. So that's two for the lovely bow. The next Barbie versus
Ooh,
Tombstone.
Is that like a pizza?
what?
What?
It's one of the brands, I think.
Tombstone?
I think so. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Uh
I'm pretty sure I'm right. You know what? I'm not gonna self-dep. I'm right. You're wrong.
You must be thinking about Tony's.
Tostinos? Totinos?
Totino's.
Totinos?
No. Uh,
I've not seen Barbie, and I have seen Tombstone, and I do think Tombstone's a good movie. That's what most of these first rounds are going to be. Is I haven't seen this, but I have seen this, and I think it's good. That's actually what every round is going to be until we get to the like round of 16 or whatever. Tombstone. DJ, have you heard of Tombstone, the movie?
no.
So Tombstone is based on the true story. It's loosely based on the true story of Wyatt Earp and his brothers when they came to Tombstone, I believe Arizona, I believe, and it was a like gambling town. I mean, it was a town in the West, in the Wild West, and it had one of the most famous gunfights in the history of the West. And so the movie is about the lead up to the gunfight, and then some of the fallout afterward, with characters like Doc Holliday, Wyatt Earp, obviously, um, Johnny Ringo, just a bunch of famous names from the West, and it's got a lot of good actors in it. Um, I'm not good at actors' names. I know Val Kilmer plays Doc Holliday, and he does a good job. There's a lot of quotable lines from it. And Wage War had a song based on the movie called Tombstone. It was a great movie. And I think every line in the song is a quote from the movie. But
That's kind of cringe.
it came out in the 90s, and it's pretty good.
So I had not seen Tombstone before. You sent me the list of movies that we were gonna do for this, and it was one that I wanted to see because people talk about it a lot. Like, oh, this is a really good movie. If you ever talk about westerns, I feel like people bring it up. You're like, oh, this is like a really good western, even though it's later than like a traditional western, I suppose, made in the '90s.
Yeah.
But I tried to watch it the other night, and I did not get the big deal about it. I wasn't able to finish it honestly,
Okay.
because I just wasn't into it.
It,
Barbie, phenomenal movie, absolutely love it.
I haven't seen it. I don't have a reason to have not seen it. I just haven't. Um, I don't watch a lot of movies nowadays.
You didn't Barbenheimer,
I didn't. I haven't seen Oppenheimer either. So
bro?
I know. I know. I'm awful. Yeah, Christopher
So
Nolan's like my favorite director too. So that's even worse.
so I have seen none of those three that we've talked about. No Barbie, no Oppenheimer, no Tombstone. Is Oppenheimer on the list?
It is not.
No way.
Yeah.
I
The
thought.
person who I thought would have voted for Oppenheimer voted for one of the Lord of the Rings movies. So
Okay.
yeah.
Sweet. Yeah. So, man, what year did Tombstone come out?
Oh, I think it was like right after we were born. Uh, No, never mind. 93.
Okay. Well, that's tough because I was like, man, Barbie, like, it almost gets my vote just on better marketing, right? Uh, but it's
Just let me.
fair.
So, Barbie is probably one of the most like entertaining films I've seen. It's really fun, a lot of good music, like dancing stuff like that. It's really funny, and it's like low key kind of deep. If you're into, it's got some things to say about the state of the world and gender relations and all that. Um, but yeah, just I think it's really good all around
Hmm.
for men and women. Some men don't like to watch it because they are afraid.
That's why I haven't watched it because I'm afraid.
I'll watch it. I just haven't, so I can't vote for it according to the rules because I did enjoy Tombstone.
I I'm gonna give, and this can shoot me like I'm shooting myself in the foot when the showdown comes between Adam, like our favorite movies. But I'm gonna vote for Barbie. I think.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, my vote's for Barbie for sure.
Okay, so Barbie goes through. The next round, Interstellar versus Life is Beautiful.
Gage, I'm
Okay.
so sorry. I didn't mean it. We can pick Tombstone.
Uh, so I have not seen either of these movies. And when
Paige,
people
have you
were
seen any
giving,
movies?
huh?
Have you seen any movies?
I've seen
Oof.
a lot of the rest of these movies. It's just the first half I haven't seen. Um, that's not true. I've seen over half of the movies that we were told, and I tried to watch a couple more, but I wasn't able to finish them because a lot of these were long movies, especially the ones I picked. I have watched like an hour of Interstellar and never had a desire to finish it. That's nothing against the movie, but the hour that I watched of it was very boring. And
Which hour? I'm just kidding.
It's a good question though.
that's a good question. Um, yeah, no, it was just the hour that I watched was really boring, and it didn't help that I came in like probably I think it was probably like the middle third of the movie probably is where I came in. It was around the time where they were on the water planet, where time went really slow there but really fast everywhere else.
You can get out the podcast right now. Just go.
But I didn't understand like the context of anything else that was happening around that. And I didn't understand like, and so it's not I'm not gonna fault it for that. I just haven't finished it. And all I know of Life is Beautiful is that DJ told me that our friendship depended on me watching it. Yeah, that's kind of
Yeah.
where I'm
So
at.
you've watched it since then, since I said that, right?
Uh, no, I have rented it on Amazon Prime and not finished watching it. Not even started watching it because no one wanted to watch it with me.
When does it expire?
It expires 48 hours later, but it was like I think 3 something. So I'll just do it again when I'm ready to sit down and watch it.
Wait.
When you're ready to waste another $3.
I don't know. According to DJ, waste is not the term I would use there.
But if you don't watch it, it's a waste.
Yeah, that's true. If I'm gonna sit down for a movie, I normally commit. This
Yeah.
past week when I've been trying to get caught up on things, I just haven't had as much time as
Yeah.
I hoped.
Yeah, you're good. What I will say about Interstellar is that the middle third of it is the best part of it, um, in my opinion. Having seen it, uh, I will say, Gage and I talked about this recently, but the scene where he's just gotten back from the water planet and all his kids are all grown up. The first time I watched that, I was about 21 years old, uh, and like, okay, cool, this good scene, Matthew. And then I've watched it since, not the whole movie, just like that scene, like as a man with a child, and it
Mm.
it hits different. It's like just a lot more of an emotional, like really touching scene. Um,
I heard that scene even he wasn't actually watching anything. Like he was just reacting blind. And so the acting there is also like superb in that regard.
They didn't even tell him like what he was reacting to. They're just like, do something.
Yeah, they just
just go.
Start crying.
put him in
Yeah.
front of a character and were like, "Hey man, uh we're just gonna have you sit here for a few react to things in your head."
Yeah. His son comes on. He's like, "Well, Dad, this is your grandson." Um, and then the next scene, like, "Well, today was his funeral," and he goes, "All right, all right, all right." Like, so, Life is Beautiful. I've talked about it on the show before. Very beautiful movie. Do you know anything about this movie, Adam?
I don't.
Okay, so the first half of this movie is like one of the most positive, happy movies maybe in existence, and it's just this very happy-go-lucky, carefree guy that is like slowly convinces a woman to leave the man that she's engaged to marry him, and like it's hard to describe like just all the cute, very fun, very funny, very happy. The second half of the movie, so I first watched it in drama class. First half we watched that, and I'm like, man, this is awesome. What I missed was through the first half of the movie, they're dropping hints like, oh, hey, this is like 1930s Italy, and things are kind of getting bad out there. Uh, Second half of the movie, the man and his son, who he has with his wife that he stole away from the Nazi man, get taken to a concentration camp, and it's essentially him like trying to survive while also like keeping the boys' spirits up, and so like trying to convince his son that it's like a game and that it's like fun, all this terrible stuff that they're going through, and just a very very beautiful like fun isn't the best word. The first half is fun, but like just a very beautiful movie. And if it doesn't win, which I'm fine with that, it's worth a watch. I'll have done my job if you guys watch it.
It sounds good. I want to watch it.
I do too, genuinely. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're willing to pay $6 to watch it.
Didn't you buy it on YouTube?
Yeah, I own it. Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
I'd get it on VHS if I could.
So
I don't have a
oh, go ahead. Sorry.
VCR. No, you're good. I don't have
You
a
know
VCR.
who does have a
so-
VCR?
Nathan Hurley,
Nathan Hurley at the Royale Cinema Club Lounge.
Lounge,
Yeah, Lounge.
Joplin, Missouri.
Joplin, Missouri. Take your VHS tapes there, I guess.
Does he have Interstellar on VHS? It's the only way I'm going.
You know what? I think he does somehow. Can you burn a DVD onto a VHS tape? Like, can
Yeah,
you do
but
that?
like I'd be curious about like the legality for his purposes.
Yeah, no, for his purposes, probably not. But I mean, like in general, I was
Yeah.
just curious. Yeah, okay, cool. I think that'd be kind of nifty in its own way. Anywho, so Interstellar versus Life is Beautiful. What are y'all voting for?
A Interstellar for me.
I mean, I just so Gage has to decide. I'll go. Life is Beautiful.
Oh my gosh, that's so hard. Not seeing the movies makes it really difficult because I have an idea of what each movie's about. Like I know the premise, I know I know that like Interstellar initially was really liked by some people, but generally didn't receive a lot of the attention that it has gotten since. And the soundtrack's amazing. Like the soundtrack is phenomenal. I know nothing about Life is Beautiful other than that DJ's told me to watch it and described the plot to me on like 3 occasions. And
The soundtrack is just picture like you've just walked into an Italian restaurant.
oh, I'm sold.
Mamma mia!
No, it is worth mentioning, right, Gage? Didn't Interstellar get like 4 or 5 votes?
Yes, Interstellar did get 5 votes. So I think I am gonna have to go with that just because more people know about it and voted for it, and I don't want to get necessarily crucified for this reason.
Garrett wouldn't crucify you.
That's fair. The next round, so Interstellar is going forward, and it's got a heavyweight that it's going against. But the next round, All Quiet on the Western Front versus Fantastic Mr. Fox.
I've watched zero of these films.
Now,
seen
here's the
Fantastic
question
Mr.
though.
Fox.
There's two All Quiet on the Western Fronts. There's one that came out last year, and there's one that came out like back in the 30s. So like 90 years ago.
They mean the one last year, Gage.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair. The one that came out in the 30s is regarded as one of
grandma
the best
put this
war
in here?
movies of all time. So, or 40s or whenever it came out. But I mean, I'm going Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Yeah,
I like Wes
know-
Anderson.
I've seen Fantastic Mr. Fox. I don't remember a ton about it, but yeah, I don't have a strong opinion, but I've seen it, so that's got my vote.
I vote Western Front.
Okay.
I'm
Uh,
contrarian.
Next round is fun. Kung Fu Hustle versus Top Gun.
Oh gosh,
Have you seen
I do
both
not
of those
enjoy it.
movies?
I have not seen Kung Fu Hustle. I've seen Top Gun, but I am not a fan.
DJ, have you seen both of those movies?
I have definitely slept through Top Gun. Kung Fu Hustle, is that one of the funny ones?
Yeah, so Kung Fu Hustle is, I'm trying to remember right because I don't want to say the wrong one because they have a handful of these.
Yeah. I've watched Kung Pao Enter the Fist. I
Okay.
know I've watched that.
I watched Kung Fu Hustle in your room at Ozark with at least Brandon Crosser, maybe Caleb Clay.
Okay, I've seen that one then. Or at least
Uh,
slept through it.
and I have seen both of these movies, and I'm going Kung Fu Hustle because it's funnier and it stuck with me better. And the only thing that I like about Top Gun a lot is
Tom Cruise.
Highway to the Danger Zone. That song. Like that's really the only thing I really liked about that movie. Everything else was kind of like didn't age incredibly well for me. Like not that it aged poorly, but just that like I don't like I'm so inundated with good movies. It didn't stick with me as well.
I can't respect Tom Cruise.
Scientologists.
Short people.
I'll vote with you guys this time.
Okay. Next one, fried green tomatoes and The Dark Knight. Such a weird matchup.
Banger.
I have slept through The Dark Knight for sure and never seen Fried Green Tomatoes whatsoever.
So I watched Fried Green Tomatoes during COVID lockdowns. And so it's a blur for me because that's all I did during that time was watch movies. And
Glory days.
it was not as memorable as many of the movies I watched during that time. And The Dark Knight is one of the best superhero movies ever made. And it's also Christopher Nolan. So I'm going Dark Knight.
What if you had to pick between The Dark Knight and eating fried green tomatoes?
I would still pick The Dark Knight. Fried green
Alright.
tomatoes are good.
Yeah.
They're not that good.
I don't think I've ever eaten fried green tomatoes either.
We
so
actually
it's gonna have
made
to be The
them-
Dark Knight.
We made them because we watched the movie.
Oh yeah.
And they were
Would you
good.
rather eat those or eat a bat? That's what started the whole COVID thing, anyway, right?
Yeah, I'm going The Dark Knight.
Yep. Me too.
Sure.
Okay, now we have Avatar, not The Last Airbender, versus
Avatar, The Last Airbender.
versus Back to the Future.
Ooh. Okay. This is actually a tough one.
It is. It is a tough one.
Okay, so sorry, I've slept through Avatar at church. Like we were all sitting in a row of chairs watching it, and I slept. It was in the Tom Armstrong Hall or whatever.
Okay.
Sunday morning, 11 o'clock.
Yeah,
Avatar.
11 o'clock to 2:30 p.m. Yeah.
You like Avatar?
Yeah, I like it. It's like over the years has lost a lot of its shine for me, but that's more because like I think a lot of what I enjoyed about it when I was younger was just how cool it all was because it was cool. Like it's Pocahontas essentially. The story is Walt Disney's Pocahontas, but it's on another planet. And I was in theaters watching it with other middle schoolers and we gave it a standing ovation after the movie was over. That's how much we
That's dope.
enjoyed it. Um,
I
so like it was a cool experience for me watching that movie. And Back to the Future, I have watched so many times by this point, and I've always thought it was good, but that's kind of it.
I'm voting for Back to the Future because I've never understood all the hullabaloo about Avatar. I haven't watched it since I slept through it though.
That's fair.
I'd be willing to watch it with some like caffeine in my blood, but I just
I will
haven't
say that
since.
like Avatar was obviously such a big deal when it came out,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like it kind of lost. Like a lot of people didn't really think much about it until they finally came out with the second one.
Mm-hmm.
And because I'd watched the first one again, I was like, that was actually like pretty good. Like it's definitely aged. Like there's a lot of things about it that are kind of outdated for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But then I watched even the second one. Like I really enjoyed it. Like I love all the production, the visuals, and all that, and the story was pretty good. But Back to the Future, that's another banger. I'm a
It's a
sucker for a good
classic.
80s movie. Yeah,
It is a classic.
Gage, what are you voting?
Timeless.
Huh?
Because I don't want to be the tiebreaker.
Oh
But
no,
what are you?
I already said I'm voting for Avatar just because of
Oh, that's
the
right.
experience of it. Not
Oh,
necessarily because I think it's objectively better, but my experience with Avatar has always been better the 2 times I've seen it than my experience with Back to the Future the 50 times I've seen it.
I don't know. I'm a sucker for a good 80s movie. I'm gonna have to go Back to the Future.
Okay. That's around I wouldn't be upset if either one went through because they're both good movies, I think. Next one, Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, and Shawshank Redemption.
Oh, that's a doozy.
That is a
Do you
doozy.
think that they considered renaming that movie?
I gotta see when it came out real quick.
There had to be someone that was like, no, this is what we're naming it. It
Like
has to be this.
The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers came out in 2002.
bold.
I'm trying to see the exact release day. December 5th, 2002. So just over a year after.
Probably helped sales
Yeah,
actually.
probably.
Like, hey, you guys used to love those two towers.
For the longest time, I didn't know what the two towers were in the two towers, and
Yeah,
it's Isengard and the Eye of
yeah.
Sauron, right?
That's my best understanding.
Okay, because I've actually looked it up, and there is debate as to what the two towers are, but that's my understanding. Isengard.
Got to be those two.
I mean, it has to be. What are the other towers referenced? I don't know.
There's the really tall city that they try to keep. Maybe it's that.
Helm's Deep. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wait, no.
but it's
Helm's
called Deep. It can't be a tower.
no. It's gosh, Isildur. No, Isildur is a person. I think. The big, yeah, but that's in Return of the King. The one you're talking
Okay,
about's Return of the King, though.
cool.
I'm pretty sure.
Have you have you seen these, Adam?
Yes. So I had not seen any of the Lord of the Rings until a couple years ago.
Hmm.
My friends finally got me to watch the first one, and I thought it was terrible.
Yeah.
I still do. Um, one of my roommates was watching the Two Towers not too long ago, and I was in there, so I started watching it, and it was definitely better than the first one. But I felt like there was just kind of like a lot of fighting and like stuff going on, and I did not care about any of it at all. And I just don't get the big deal about it. That's my hot take. You can argue about it, but I know I'm right. So yeah, Two Towers trash.
Are there? I didn't actually. You sent me the list, and I appreciate it. I didn't look at it. Are there other Lord of the Rings movies on this list?
Yes, there is one other
Which one is it?
Fellowship of the Ring.
Okay,
The first
because
one?
I think that determines. Because like I feel like I've got big opinions about the series as a whole,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that the series as a whole is great.
Yeah.
And like you finish watching, you're like, holy cow, crap cow. What a great journey that just was. But I don't know that I've like processed like sat down with each one. And what's the other movie we're thinking about here?
Shawshank Redemption.
Oh yeah, pretty much the same movie.
I was going to say, as a standalone film, I'm voting Shawshank Redemption. Um, I love the Lord of the Rings series, but I think that the trilogy is better than the individual parts by a long shot. Like, it's the overarching story is what matters. And I go back and forth. Most fans think the first or the second Lord of the Rings is their favorite of the three. So, like, it's amazing that you hated the first.
It was so bad. Like I literally don't understand what the appeal of it is. I made it like 20 minutes in. I don't know if it was even that long, and it just got to the point where I was just like laughing at everything that was supposed to be serious. Because I don't know, it was probably part of it's the acting and just like everything about it. But it's like I just could not take it seriously.
I have only slept through Shawshank Redemption, so I have to vote Lord of the Rings.
I like Shawshank.
Yeah. I think
It's long, but it's good.
Shawshank's a really good movie. Now, this next round is so we're going Shawshank. Um,
Yep.
this next round is thanks to Nathan Hurley, because he gave me 3 answers and said he couldn't pick a favorite of the 3. So 2 of his are going head to head, and that's In Bruges and Nocturnal Animals.
I know nothing.
I know nothing.
I've slept on these.
I do not know In Bruges, but Nocturnal Animals is a banger. That's a really good movie. So
You know
do I
what?
take G?
Let's go with Nocturnal Animals since one of us has seen one of these 2 movies.
I'm here for it.
I'm here for it. Okay, now we have Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and The Green Mile.
I have slept through the Green Mile.
Okay, so you know how there's like when you're a kid, there's like movies that were just like always on TV.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like you never like sat down and watched this movie, but it was always on, so you probably caught like parts of all of it over the years.
Yes.
Yeah, or you slept
Mine
through
was
it.
like the quintessential like that movie.
The Green Mile was always on AMC. Like, it just was.
Yeah,
And it still is every once in a while. They'll have like a week where it plays every night, it seems like. Kind of like
I like the Green Mile.
Green Mile's good. I have not seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I'm pretty sure I caught parts of it, and I believe it's Tarantino, right?
Yeah, it's Tarantino.
Yeah, I remember. I didn't hate it, but I'd rather watch the Green Mile.
What's your general opinion of Tarantino?
I'm not a huge fan. I haven't seen all of his stuff, but I've seen Pulp Fiction and Reservoir Dogs and most of like the classics.
I'd say, sorry,
They're okay. Like,
not enough feet.
not enough feet.
Yeah.
Django Unchained was my first Tarantino film, and I love Django Unchained.
I have not seen that one. I would like to though.
I think you would like
It's
it
good.
more than you have his other stuff so far. But we're going the Green Mile. Okay, next round. I think this one's going to be an obvious pick for reasons. We have Good Will Hunting versus It's a Wonderful Life.
Well, I know the answer's obvious for me. I don't know if it is for you.
It's obvious for me, I think.
It's a Wonderful Life can die in a hole.
Yes. Thank you, DJ.
I do enjoy It's a Wonderful Life like once every 5 years. But like few movies have made me feel things like Good Will Hunting made me feel things. And it was because of you that I watched it actually, because you put it as one of your top 3 movies when we did Guess the Guest a while back. And
Oh, really?
so I went and watched Good Will Hunting, and it's shot up to be one of my favorite movies of all time. Like, it's just such a good movie. Like, the acting is good, the story is well paced, the emotional beats hit every time. It's just a good movie.
I want the
I
record.
voted for
Sorry.
Interstellar. I voted for Interstellar in this, but it was hard to put that over Good Will Hunting. Probably.
You might
Probably
have
one of the
to
top 3.
make that head up happen in a few minutes.
Oh no.
I want the record to show I've seen neither of these movies, but It's a Wonderful Life is too close in name to Life is Beautiful. And it gets under my skin sometimes. So
Okay.
A lot of people talk big about It's a Wonderful Life. I also think it's kind of trash, but
I
that's just me.
I think like a lot of people look back and say that it is aged poorly. And I mean, it's a black and white film. It was written in a day and an age that's very different than our own. And I think it is a bit ham-fisted with some things. And it has issues, but a lot of the issues that people bring up are just them not paying attention to the movie. Anyways, Good Will Hunting wins though. Okay, next round we have The Lion King, the original animated film, and Twister.
Oh,
DJ and I spent a summer in the town where Twister was filmed, or where parts of Twister were filmed.
This is like the '90s Twister, not that new one they did.
Yeah, the 90s Twister. I did like the new
I
one. I thought it was a good sequel. But yeah.
I spent a summer where Lion King is set too.
That is true.
So I
So
never actually. I know I probably have seen it. I just never remembered much of The Lion King.
Mm.
But I rewatched it the other day and I thought it was pretty incredible. It's a great movie.
Oh, it is. It's so good. Definitely better than Twister in my mind.
Oh yeah.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, and what's funny is like Twister actually got multiple votes and The Lion King didn't. It's funny to see some of these that did that. Um
Yeah,
okay.
Twister's not a movie I ever would have thought of anyone saying it's their favorite movie.
Yeah, like it's a good summer blockbuster. Like it's a good movie to go turn your brain off and watch, right? Just to have like a good time. But it's not like an amazing movie in my mind. No offense to the people who like it. I like it. I just don't put it in this category. The next round is going to be easy for me. We have The Princess Bride versus Drive.
I have not seen Drive.
I have not seen Drive.
My marriage depends on me saying Princess Bride.
I'm not very high on The Princess Bride, but it will still get my vote.
The Princess Bride is one of my favorite movies, and I think the overwhelming majority of that is nostalgia because I grew up with it. Um, and like I've gone back and watched it with people, and the whole time I'm like, wow, this does not hold up, but I still love it. You know,
Right.
it's one of those things. It's like junk food. Like,
Mm. Or heroin.
yeah. Uh, okay, so The Princess Bride's going through. Now we have The Godfather Part 1 versus Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
You'll never guess which of these two movies I slept through. I'll give you a hint. It's both. Yeah.
I was gonna say you definitely slept through Oh Brother, Where Art Thou at Mark's house, because that's where I slept
Mhm.
through it.
I think that Mr. Epps had us watch it,
He did when we
and I was
were.
like gone one of those days.
He had us watch it. I think it had to do with we were talking about like Greece,
Yeah.
and he was like, "Yeah, this is based on the Odyssey." And it's
What?
one of the only movies that takes place in Mississippi that isn't that the main plot isn't about hate crimes and race violence.
Good for it. I'll give it a vote.
I'm voting for it too, just because I watched The Godfather Part 1 and did not see the hype.
Same.
It
I
what's
haven't
what's the
seen Oh
phrase?
Brother.
It insists on itself.
It insists upon itself.
Okay. Now we have a classic against a blockbuster. We've got Battleship, the movie with Rihanna, versus Indiana Jones, The Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Who put that on the list?
I don't remember. I think it was someone I work with. It was either someone I work with, or it was one of my friends that I was texting asking. Um, it's a fun movie. I mean,
Sure.
it's a fun movie to turn your brain off and watch, and that's one of my favorite genres. Is turn your brain off and just enjoy it. But like I'm going Raiders of the Lost Ark, even
So-
though
I never saw Battleship.
I will say, The Last Crusade is my favorite of the Indiana Jones movies. I wouldn't have picked The Raiders of the Lost Ark personally, but it is better than Battleship.
I'm in a pickle because I have seen Battleship because I watched it at Donald Park's house. I'll still give a vote to Raiders.
Okay. This one's going to be tough because the movie that is probably objectively better I have not seen. Odd Thomas and Casablanca. I have not seen Casablanca.
Casablanca is good. I have not seen Odd Thomas though.
I have seen neither of them.
So this is fun. The only thing I know about Casablanca is that A Day to Remember has a song called Casablanca Sucked Anyways. And it's a great
Well, that
breakup
settles it.
song. It's a great breakup song. But Odd Thomas is actually based on a book series, and it features the late great Anton Yelchin as the main character, and he is just this young man, old teenager. I don't actually know how old he's supposed to be, who can see spirits and stuff like that. And he notices that there's like a lot of them starting to gather in his town. It's got a lot of like, it's got a similar vibe to like Baby Driver, um, Scott Pilgrim versus the World. It's got like a similar feeling to those movies because it's like it's very like comic and the characters are very like overly exaggeratedly like silly people. Most of them are. Um, but it's got like some nice horror elements to it as well. And the payoff is that it ends kind of sad. Uh, and you're ready for the next movie. But they never ended up making it because unfortunately Anton passed away in an accident. And the
That
movie
sounds good.
bombed probably, but I loved it. What's Casablanca, Adam?
Man, it's been so long since I've seen it that I couldn't tell you the plot details super well, but it takes place in Casablanca, and some things happen.
Isn't it like a romance
Honestly,
movie?
yeah, it's that's at least part of it for sure.
Okay.
I, yeah, I honestly can't remember, but I remember enjoying it, so I'll say that.
Okay.
I'll believe it. I'll vote for Odd Thomas. I think.
Okay.
Sorry,
That's fair.
Casablanca fans.
Okay, so we've got The Secret of Rowan Inish. Rowan, Rowan.
Chapel Roan.
Yes.
Big fan.
The Secret of Chapel Roan versus Labyrinth.
My mother will beat me if I don't say Labyrinth. So that's my vote. I don't personally, it's fine. Overrated, I'd say, a little cringe even. But Deanna will come hit me with something if I do not vote for Labyrinth.
Have you
So.
seen The Secret of Rowan Inish?
No.
Okay, yeah, neither have I. I've also not seen Labyrinth.
It's the one with David Bowie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I was thinking of another movie. I have not.
Were you
seen
thinking Pan's Labyrinth?
Yes, I have.
The
Yeah, that's what I
Guillermo
was
del
thinking.
Toro one?
Yeah. That was a good movie.
Yeah, it's a metaphor for war. It's great. Like everything he makes. I mean,
love war.
that sounds tongue in cheek, but like it's a good metaphor. And the
Wait, what was the
creatures
other
are
movie?
so terrifying. The Secret of Roan Inish. I've never seen it. I don't know what it's about. There was a girl we went to college with who recommended it.
Who was that?
Let me pull up my post. I like how your answer initially was Dance or Die by Family Force 5, though, by the way.
Happy to help.
It was Carissa.
Bro, that's my cousin.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh.
she listens to your podcast.
No, but she's friends
I
with us.
think-
She's friends with me on Facebook and answered
Yeah.
the question on Facebook.
That's cool.
She was
An
like in speech class with me, I think.
Cool.
But yeah, so we got Secret of Roan Inish and Labyrinth.
Wait,
DJ voted
what was your
Labyrinth.
favorite movie?
Huh?
That's what hers was. The Secret of Chapel Roan.
Yes.
Okay.
Carissa will come beat you if you don't vote
It's
for
got
it.
my vote. Yeah.
That's got your vote?
Yeah.
DJ, tell me what the Labyrinth is about.
Listen, I can't describe this movie in a way that won't make my mom come beat me. It's so weird. So there's this gal that's babysitting her brother. His name's Toby. I remember being like a 5-year-old watching this movie. Like, man, Toby's such a stupid name. And my mom was like, Toby's the name of the guy that plays Spider-Man. That's cool, right? And it's like, you know what, you're right. That's cool. So anyways, she's watching her brother Toby. And then she wishes that he would just go away or whatever. And then all of a sudden the lights go out and little goblin things come steal her brother. And then he gets taken to the labyrinth where she has to go defeat David Bowie to get her brother back so her parents don't ground her or whatever.
Okay.
And there's singing and dancing and it's probably good. I think that I have a tendency to think that anything that anyone in my family likes is cringe. And that says more about me than it does about them, probably. But it's probably good. There's a
It's
little worm that says aloe.
it's a cult classic. I mean, if nothing
For sure.
else, it's a cult classic. Okay, so I just read the plot, a very, very, very short synopsis of the plot of The Secret of Roan Inish. Um, it is centered on the Irish and Orcadian folklores of Selkies, seals that can shed their skins to become human. The story, set on the west coast of Ulster in the northwest of Ireland, is about Fiona, a young girl who is sent to live with her grandparents and her cousin Eamon near the island of Roan Inish, where the Selkies are rumored to reside. It is a family legend that her younger brother was swept away in his infancy and raised by a Selkie. Part of the film takes
Um,
place in Donegal Town.
I
That's it.
I really I am voting for Labyrinth not against my own will anymore. Like I'm voting for Labyrinth because I want to now.
I'll stand by it. Sounds like a good movie, Carissa. Hope you're listening.
Yeah, I'm voting for The Secret of Roan Inish. That just sounds
Let's go.
wild.
Speaking of characters named Fiona, I think there's an obvious omission from this bracket.
Shrek? Or Shrek 2?
Or three or
Both.
four.
Specifically Shrek 2. Shrek 2 is the best.
2 is good. Yeah.
Wait, are you being serious? Because I would have put that in here if I put one in.
I mean, I think it belongs. I don't think there's any question about that.
It is a good movie. Unfortunately, it is not in here. We can fix that next time we do this. When we've watched more movies.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next one, we have How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, which got multiple votes, by the way, versus L.A. Confidential.
How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days is one that I've heard people talk about before, and I watched it after you gave me the list, and it was enjoyable.
Okay.
I'm not sure definitely not anywhere near my top movie of all time, but I enjoyed it.
It's a good movie.
I haven't seen it. I have seen L.A. Confidential. Have either of you seen it?
No.
No.
Okay, so
It's confidential.
yeah, we're probably going to go with How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days then, because both of you have seen that and I haven't. But
Yeah.
L.A. Confidential has Kevin Spacey in it, uh, and Danny DeVito.
Cinephile.
Does he play himself and Danny DeVito?
And Danny DeVito.
You know that was a weird set.
Oh yeah. And essentially what it is Danny DeVito is a reporter for a sleazy newspaper. Makes so much sense. And Kevin Spacey is a police officer.
Trying to catch a cinephile.
Yeah. Actually kind of. Kevin Spacey is a he's a police officer who takes bribes from Danny DeVito's character to like show up and arrest people for like the kind of crimes that sell papers. And it takes place in LA like back in the 50s and 50s or 60s or something. And so it's got like like people smoking marijuana or like possession with intent to sell, stuff like that. And they try to blackmail politicians by getting pictures of them doing things that were really frowned upon back then. And so these two are kind of working together. But also there's this underlying story where a diner gets shot up, probably by mob related people. And I think like 10 people die in the shooting. And then they start trying to figure it out, and they find out that it's connected to this wealthy businessman who's opening up a bunch of stuff in the town, who also happens to run a ring of like a prostitution ring that's based on like all of the prostitutes getting plastic surgery so that they look like famous actresses of the day, so that people can pay to be with the actress that they have a crush on, essentially. And there's just a lot of stuff happening. It's a 3-hour movie. It's wild from start to finish. It was pretty good.
I feel that it's important to note that I thought I had seen How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. I have seen 10 Things I Hate About You.
That's a mistake.
That one's good too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have seen that one. Okay, so DJ, you're the tiebreaker then.
I'll vote for the 10 one.
Okay. How to Lose
Only
a Guy.
because it almost tricked me.
Okay, now we have Dawn of the Dead versus Once Upon a Time in the West.
I've not seen either of these.
I have
Yeah.
only seen the remake of Dawn of the Dead,
I'll vote with you.
so I have to go with Dawn of the Dead.
Is Shaun of the Dead on the list?
Sadly, no.
Okay, I'll Dawn of the Dead.
I think it was better than Dawn of the Dead, but that's me. Okay, these two movies ended up against each other, and I think it's actually it's kind of funny because they're very similar in a lot of ways. We have Equilibrium and the Boondock Saints.
I don't think I've seen either of these either.
I have slept through the Boondock Saints.
I have also slept through the Boondock Saints. Um, so Equilibrium is actually one of my favorite underrated movies, in my opinion. It's got Christian Bale. It's a dystopian movie where they have gotten rid of emotions. Essentially, they've given people a pill that gets rid of their emotions, and if you feel and so they've gotten rid of art, they've gotten rid of music, they've gotten rid of books for the most part, they've gotten rid of all of these things that cause emotion, and then they've given you a medication that keeps you from feeling your emotions essentially. And Christian Bale is a high-ranking official. I think he's called a cleric, and his job is to essentially hunt down people who are offending by feeling, called sense offenders, and like kill them and burn the contraband essentially, or take them to prison to be burned. Uh, so it's got this fighting style called gun kata in it, which is like hand-to-hand combat but using pistols, and it's just like really goofy in some ways, but it's also just like the story itself I thought was pretty good. The action was good. It's very, very much a movie that came out about the same time as The Matrix. And you can tell that. Like Christian Bale's wearing like a black, like oil slicker jacket and all black all the time. And he has his hair slicked back. Um,
Oh, you mean The Dark Knight?
yeah.
Oh, the one where he has eyeshadow.
Yes. Uh, but yeah. So I mean, that's what I'm going with. The Boondock Saints is about two Irish Catholic brothers from Boston who become vigilantes after a religious revelation. They use guns and religious iconography to fight against organized crime and evil in their city. The Boondock Saints is also the title of a 1999 action film written and directed by Troy Duffy. Oh, so it was a book, I guess?
Neat.
The two brothers are Norman Reedus and Sean Patrick Flannery, or Flannery.
You know, for sure.
And Willem Dafoe is in it.
So I've seen neither of these, right? What I will say is that in the game Force, where you play as different people from the movies that are going and shooting people,
Mm.
the guys from Boondock Saints were my favorite to play as.
Okay.
So they get my vote.
Okay. Adam, you're our tiebreaker.
I'm gonna have to say that, was it Equilibrium?
Yeah.
Sounds like a more interesting movie to me, so that's gonna get my vote.
Okay. Sorry, DJ.
It's fine.
Okay, we're almost done. We have two more matchups for our first round through, and then it's going to start going by faster because we've already explained the movies. We have Little Shop of Horrors versus Goodfellas.
Same movie.
I haven't seen The Little Shop of Horrors. I've seen Goodfellas. I feel like it's pretty overrated, but I guess it's good enough.
I think it's pretty overrated too, but I do
All
like
right,
it.
fellas.
It's all right, fellas. Yeah.
All right, fellas.
I have seen more high school productions of Little Shop of Horrors than anyone ever needs to see in a lifetime.
One.
I wish. I wish. No, the first time I watched it, the person that was supposed to play the dentist, who's one of the main characters, was on academic probation or something like that. And so they like this poor kid had like it was like a Friday and he'd had since Wednesday to learn his lines. And so multiple times he's just standing there. So yeah. I'll give a vote to Little Shop in solidarity with those high schoolers who are now people my age.
Okay. So all right, fellas goes through. And then the final of round one, we have Ferris Bueller's Day Off versus Fellowship of the Ring.
You already know my answer.
Yeah, I have not seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off, is the sad thing.
You've never seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
I have not.
Wow.
And so I'm gonna ruin Adam's day because I'm voting for
There is
The
no
Ring.
There
Yeah.
is no way this movie is better than Ferris Bueller. 0%
I've slept
chance.
through Ferris Bueller.
Dude, I just so happened to watch Ferris Bueller the other day. I was laughing like the whole time. Every scene is good.
You literally said you were laughing through Lord of the Rings the whole time.
That's
So
true.
Okay,
Mr. Froto.
round two. How to Train Your Dragon versus The Lovely Bones.
I'm voting for Bones.
Bones.
I'm voting for Bones. Like, I love How to Train Your Dragon, but I think The Lovely Bones is better.
Well, I haven't seen it, but it doesn't matter anymore.
Barbie versus Interstellar.
Oof.
Ooh.
That's a tough one. Barbie, if someone could convince me of Barbie, but you two haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I'll vote Barbie.
No, I'm gonna have to go Interstellar.
You're making the guy who hasn't seen either of them be the tiebreaker. I've done that to you guys on many occasions. That's hard. Thanks, DJ.
Happy to help.
DJ, you can't.
You've
do this,
seen
okay?
Interstellar,
It's against
DJ.
rules.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Interstellar, I guess then.
Okay, cool.
Unless you can give a good reason, which you can't because you haven't seen it.
We're going Interstellar.
I'm because I'm not sexist.
Good for you.
Fantastic Mr. Fox versus Kung Fu Hustle.
It's got to be Fantastic Mr. Fox for me.
I vote for The Hustle.
I vote for The Hustle.
Wait, what is y'all's take on Wes Anderson?
I like him.
I've only seen Isle of Dogs,
Uh,
and I have seen Kung Fu Hustle.
I loved Grand Budapest Hotel.
Really? I thought that one was kind of weird. I mean, they're all kind of weird.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're gonna tell me that the rest of his filmography isn't weird.
Yeah. Yeah. It was like, I guess that's what I think in general. It's like I kind of like it, but it's just all kind of too weird for me.
Yeah,
I like the Moonrise Kingdom. I like that one quite a bit.
haven't seen that one. Back to the Future versus The Dark Knight.
Okay, two heavyweights.
I'm going The Dark Knight, which is 2 rounds in a row I voted against Back to the Future. But I understand the people who disagree with me on that.
The Dark Knight's a dang good movie.
It's so good.
I'll vote for Marty McFly.
DJ, what's your take on The Dark Knight?
I've slept through it.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
So Adam, you're the tiebreaker though.
Yeah, I gotta go with Dark Knight. It's too good.
That's fair.
Okay. Shawshank Redemption versus Nocturnal Animals.
I've slept through Shawshank. It can have my vote.
I mean,
You
I'm
guys
going
haven't seen it,
Shawshank
but-
because I haven't seen Nocturnal Animals, but
I feel like Nocturnal Animals is objectively better, but if you guys haven't seen it, it is what it is.
Adam, I feel like that's going to happen a couple of times, and I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The
But
green.
I mean, it's still good for sure.
I want to see it. I mean, I trust Nathan's opinions on movies for the most part. I disagree with a handful of them, but I do trust his opinions, and I trust yours. Or I did until you started talking about Lord of the Rings. So, The Green Mile versus Good Will Hunting.
Yeah, Good Will Hunting just in a whole another league.
Yeah.
I have nope. I've got nothing to say. Green Mile has my vote.
Stop.
Good Will Hunting.
I've seen neither of these.
Oh, well, you haven't seen Good Will Hunting,
I've slept through Green Mile. I haven't seen Good Will Hunting.
dude. You need to watch it.
I should do that. I have less time now than I once did. So
I'm trying to think based on a lot of the movies that you do enjoy. I think you would think it's a good movie. I think you would.
I'm sure.
I don't know how much you would like it, but I think you would like it.
I'm sure.
The Lion King and The Princess Bride.
Ooh, spicy.
Yeah, this one's a nostalgic one. I love The Princess Bride. Like, it's one of my favorite movies of all time. I think The Lion King is a better movie.
Fair.
I'm voting for
once
The Princess
watched-
Bride.
I once watched The Lion King in Africa,
Hmm.
And that was just a fun memory. I have not watched The Princess Bride in some dingy swamp. Uh, so I'll vote for The Lion King.
It's got to be The Lion King for me.
Yeah. I mostly voted for The Princess Bride because I knew neither of you would. Uh, and I still love it. Like, it's my favorite.
Yeah.
Okay, now we have Oh Brother, Where Art Thou versus Raiders of the Lost Ark.
I have seen Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Like slept through it. So it has my vote.
Yeah, I still haven't seen No Brother Where Art Thou, so it's got to be what was the other one?
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah, that one.
I'm going Raiders of the Lost Ark. I think it's just better. But I do love Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Now we have Odd Thomas versus The Secret of Roan Inish.
The Secret of Rowan Inish. Let's go.
DJ?
Odd Thomas.
Yeah, I'm
Thomas?
going with Odd Thomas on this one. Unfortunate, but I am. How to
You
Lose a
have the power
Guy.
to change it.
I'm not. How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days versus Dawn of the Dead. I have seen Dawn of the Dead. I have not seen How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
The other way around for me. DJ?
I've seen neither of them. I'll vote for Dawn of the Dead. Like it feels like a more of a classic movie.
Especially the George A. Romero version.
Yeah.
Okay, Equilibrium versus Goodfellas.
I guess I got to go with Goodfellas since I've seen it.
I mean, I do like Equilibrium quite a bit more than I like Goodfellas. I'm voting Equilibrium.
I gotta watch more movies. Or stay awake. That's kind of the main. I really gotta stay awake. Uh, I'll vote Equilibrium.
Okay. The Lovely Bones versus Interstellar.
Interstellar.
I have to vote for The Lovely Bones just because I haven't seen Interstellar. Again, nothing personal there. DJ, you're the tiebreaker.
Oh man. So I've seen Interstellar,
Okay.
and I've only slept through The Lovely Bones.
Interstellar goes through. Kung Fu Hustle versus The Dark Knight.
Dark Knight.
I mean, yeah, I'm voting
Kung
Dark
Fu
Knight.
Hustle.
I love
right.
Kung Fu Hustle, but I'm voting Dark Knight on this one.
They're the same movie.
Essentially. Shawshank Redemption versus Good Will Hunting.
Good Will Hunting.
Good Will Hunting.
Shawshank.
The Lion King versus Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Lion King.
I'm going Lion King.
I actually don't think Raiders of the Lost Ark is all that good. It's fun. Like it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Like I said, I think The Last Crusade is the best of the three. And I don't count the fourth and fifth. Odd Thomas versus Dawn of the Dead.
Dawn of the Dead for sure.
Wait, what is Dawn of the Dead even about? Is it a zombie movie?
Yeah. So Dawn of the Dead is the one where they're trapped in a mall. It's this group of just like people who wouldn't naturally end up in the same group. And they end up trapped in a mall. In the original movie, the mall ends up being sieged by a group of like raiders. And then they escape at the end in a helicopter. In the remake, that was a lot gorier and they made a lot of changes to the story. There were some people who ended up having a zombie baby in the movie. It was weird because one of them got bit while she was pregnant.
Don't go to the back of the mall.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind.
And then they ended up escaping in like a bus that they had attached a lot of guns. I don't know where they got the guns in the mall, but where they attached a lot of guns to and like some chainsaws and flamethrowers that they had made. Really cool scene. And then obviously everything goes wrong. So yeah.
The zombie baby's got my vote.
Okay. I will allow Dawn of the Dead. I will go for it. And then Equilibrium versus the Fellowship of the Ring.
I guess by the rules I have to vote for the Fellowship of the Ring this time.
Mr. Frodo has my vote.
Yeah, Mr. Frodo has my vote. Okay. Interstellar versus The Dark Knight.
Tough one.
Yeah.
2 Nolan movies? It was bound to happen.
It was eventually. I'm going Dark Knight. I haven't seen Interstellar all the way through, so I'm going Dark Knight.
Gotta be Interstellar for me.
I have seen Interstellar.
Okay.
Wait, you haven't seen The Dark Knight? You've only slept through it?
I've only slept through it.
Oh my gosh, TJ. This is classic stuff here.
Yeah, I'm useless. I used to really not like movies. because they were like a waste, because why watch a movie when you could be playing a video game instead?
Yeah.
So I've only really gotten into movies like as eventually I feel like in the past few years I realized like, oh, it's nice when I don't have to be in control of the plot and I can like just watch the plot. This is awesome. So I like movies more now, but I kind of missed out on a lot those early days.
Did you play like Arkham Asylum or anything like that?
Oh yeah, loved it.
Yeah.
One of the best games of all time, I would say.
Good Will Hunting versus The Lion King.
Lion King for sure.
Good Will Hunting.
Good. Yep. Good one.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is if it were a death match, the lion would win.
But what if Will Hunting was really, really smart?
And what if it was a math match?
It's like, this reminds me of our Super Bowl predictions where you're like, I don't know, I'm more afraid of a cowboy than I am of the color brown.
It's true.
That's fair.
Okay. Dawn of the Dead versus Fellowship of the Ring.
I still
Sorry,
go
Adam.
Fellowship.
Fellowship. I love how Fellowship of the Ring has made it to the final, not because Adam thinks it's a great movie, but because he's had to vote for it. And then we have Interstellar versus Good Will Hunting.
Probably my top two.
I'm voting Good Will Hunting.
I'll stick with Interstellar. I think it's more. I gave it like I voted for it as number one just because it has like every element of a movie that you want. Like it's got action. It's like
Mm-hmm.
a big space thing. Like the soundtrack's awesome. Good Will Hunting might be better, like just like story, but I'll stick with Interstellar.
I have seen Interstellar.
The final. Interstellar versus Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring.
The top two movies of all time. Please don't do this.
I've seen The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring.
Please, no. This can't be true.
I vote for Lord of the Rings.
No. Wow.
Oh man,
That's so good.
I feel like we're gonna be so basic. Three Christian white guys like got together on a podcast to decide the best movie of all time, and we chose Lord of the Rings, the first one.
And not even the best of the three. I mean, depending on who you ask. But
Uh,
Can I do like a bait and switch for Harry Potter? Just any of them?
So yeah, that's it. The official best movie, according to Everything But the Cats, is Lord of the Rings: The Fellowship of the Ring. I would have put Good Will Hunting ahead of it. I would have.
I would put just about every movie ahead of it.
Man.
Like honestly, maybe one of the worst movies I've ever seen. And it won. What a time.
Ain't that just the way?
Man, that's just the way it goes a lot of the times, sadly.
Oh man.
Anyway, if you would like to argue with us, please do it in the comments below. Yeah. Give us that traction. Anyways, thank you for sticking around while we talked about movies. And thank you for listening to our bad opinions. Because I bet that we have some, plenty, that are not great. Thank you, Adam, for joining us today. And thank you for the intro music that you provide for us. Do you have anything that you'd like to say to anybody? Or is there anywhere that people can find you? Not physically, but like to listen to your music and stuff?
Wherever you listen to music. Spotify. If you're not using Spotify, what are you doing? That's what I want. That's my message to the world. Like, come on.
Are you available on LimeWire? Do you know?
I hope so.
Cool.
Is that where you listen to music?
It's where I used to back when my aunt and uncle would pirate CDs for us. Back in the glory days.
Yeah. Rest in peace.
Oh yeah, LimeWire. I was like, they're still alive. It's all right.
Yeah. So go check Adam out. I will say, my favorite song by Adam Ward is probably What Would It Take? I think that's what that one's called.
Yes.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite right now.
Really.
Yeah, I really like it.
Oh, thanks. I kind of
I
wish I
think
hadn't
it's
released that song. So
You what?
that's I kind of wish I hadn't released that song. So it's kind of good to know that you like it.
Oh.
I personally think it's like the Fellowship of the Ring of Adam's
I
songs.
agree.
Wait, do you like wish you hadn't released it because you don't like it?
Yeah. It's
Really?
all right. Yeah.
Okay. Nah, I really like that one. I like all your music that I've listened to, but I think that's my favorite. I listened to all the stuff you had on Spotify when I was driving with my mom through Memphis one day, and that one stuck out to
Oh,
me
yeah.
the most.
Nice. Yeah. Hopefully I'll have some more. I'm not gonna say soon, but I'm working on some stuff very slowly.
When you do, we'll share it to the Garrett that listens to us.
Hey, Garrett.
Thank you, Garrett.
Hey, Garrett. Wait, Adam, did you ever meet Garrett
Garrett, which one?
Orman?
Yeah, I think I met him.
Okay, because I know you guys weren't on the floor at the same time, but I know he visited a couple of times when you were there, and you're both from Oklahoma, so I know Oklahoma's
Oh, really?
huge, but
Yeah, it's like a whole state.
I know, right? It's
Like
crazy.
that. Anyone else we need to thank?
Yeah,
Gage?
we also need to thank Jared Scrother for our outro music, and everybody else who's been involved with us along the way. If you are taking part in the book club, which right now the only person who's reached out to us about it is our friend Jake Bovard. So thank you, Jake, for hanging out and just being follow along with the ride. Everybody who's been paying attention, if you're still here, man, you're great. If you aren't still here, you're great, but you're not going to hear me say it, sadly. So just stay lovely, keep doing what you're doing, like, subscribe, and all that jazz. Be good people.
As always, go thank yourselves.